Well, thanks very much, Chris. With England 14-7 up, still need of more tries to get the bonus point, which would take them to the top of the Six Nations Championship. We will keep you up to date here on Sports Extra, but we do have live 90 minutes commentary to come of Bournemouth against Brentford. Bournemouth have never beaten the Bees in the Premier League era. Their last victory against them was back in August of 2014, and they need the win to get back on track for the chase for European football next season. Their owner says they're a year ahead of schedule. Bill Foley didn't expect them to be chasing Europe for another 12 months, but here they are. They had that wonderful 11-game unbeaten run in the Premier League between November and January, but they've now lost 3 of their last 5, and they come up against the Brentford side who need a win to get back into the race for Europe. Their chances are fainter, that's for sure. You can hear the pyrotechnics blasting away in front of us. A big pall of smoke drifts away on the wind, which is cold and driving in from the east. You're with Jonathan Pearce and Franny Benali here at the Vitality Stadium, where the players have just come out onto the field of play. Pale blue skies overhead. I can see a drone for the aerial TV pictures just passing out of my sight to the right hand side. Fluffy white clouds tinged with a little bit of apricot as evening will draw on, but it's cold, it's mighty cold, and mighty important here for Bournemouth, Franny, to get back and winning ways.
Certainly is, JP, isn't it? And I think we're in for a really exciting game today. Two teams that are positive, they're direct, they're quick in the transitions as well, and they've got players on both sides that can score goals and are having good seasons throughout. Players that are doing well for Bournemouth, probably resulting in their position in the table this season, as well as the manager doing well as well. And there's talk about players potentially being cherry-picked here from the Vitality Stadium by other bigger clubs, but we will have to remain to see what happens come the end of the season. But I've seen Bournemouth quite a bit here at the Vitality over the last few seasons, and I've been very impressed with the way that they play, their directness, their positivity, and the way that they can just get results here at a tight, compact little ground.
And they've had good results here at home this season, beaten Manchester City here by 2 goals to 1. Okay, it's not the great Manchester City side, but they won away at Manchester United. They've had really good results. Thumped Forest here by 5 goals to 1, but the goals have dried up for them somewhat since then. And Brentford come here as a fine attacking side themselves. I'll run through the two teams for you right now. The Brentford front four, by the way, can boast 40 goals between them, and the Bournemouth front four 32 goals. The game promises entertainment. Bournemouth with the one change from the draw at Tottenham. Ilya Zabani is back to strengthen the defence after his suspension. It's Kepa in goal, Lewis Cook, who stays at right back, Ilya Zabani, Dean Howson, Milos Kerkez. One of the players that Franny was referring to is attracting attention from big Premier League sides. Ryan Christie and Tyler Adams holding in midfield. Marcus Tavernier, Justin Kluivert, what a season he's having. And Antoine Semenyo, so lively on the left-hand side, supporting Evan Nielsen through the middle. Brentford unchanged from their home defeat by Aston Villa. They can't win at home. 8 games back at the Brentford Stadium without success since mid-December. They can't do anything wrong away. They're unbeaten in 5 trips, Brentford, and they could win 5 away league games on the bounce for the first time since 2010 when they were a League One side. They're Mark Flecken in goal, Ayer, Pinnock, Collins, Lewis Potter their back four, Yano and Norgard sitting in, and Bumo, Damsgaard, Sharda behind Johan Wissa up front. Bumo 15 goals, Wissa 14. They are a handful. Brentford in their change ship of the pink shirts and the plum-coloured shorts will defend the goal away to our right-hand side in this first half. They'll kick towards the Steve Fletcher stand away to the left. Bournemouth in the red and black striped shirts, black shorts, black socks will be defending that end. The Bournemouth fans at that end standing and cheering. The referee, Craig Pawson, near to getting us off and underway. Franny, which way it's going to go for you?
Well, it's a tough one to call, really, JP, isn't it? I think with the goals in both teams that you've just mentioned in the intro, defence is going to have to be really on top of their game to keep the strikers out of this game today, because the positivity that the players are playing with at the moment and the goals that they've scored, be very surprised if we don't get a few goals here today.
Here's Tavernier then for Bournemouth on the right-hand side. Back it goes to Lewis. Cook has played so much of his football as a central midfield player, defensive midfield player on the right. The moment he's playing at right back for Bournemouth, the ball is tucked forward by Tavernier to Justin Clive. 13 goals he scored. I watched them from the stands at Brighton the other week, went to see them to do a little bit of research, and Bournemouth were terrific that night and should have won the game, and were beaten by 2-1, and they have been, as their coach Andoni Iraola has been saying, they have been a wee bit unfortunate. Results haven't matched performances of late. This will be rolled back here then to Tavernier. Infield just to his right hand side. Tyler Adams rolls it on, keeps the momentum going. Christie away then to Antoine Semenyo on that left hand side. Sunshine in the faces of the travelling Brentford fans as they peer out from that stand. 0-0 on Sports Extra. What a day we've already had for sport, and what sporting action we have for you coming up as Semenyo plays it into the penalty area, and it's a low shot by Milos Kerkez that's easily saved by Mark Flecker.
Good positive start from the home side, exactly what the home supporters would have liked, but just seeing Semenyo up there, positive, driving into the 18-yard box, and Milos Kerkez, who we touched on speaking a little bit before the kick-off, right up in their 18-yard box, making those positive runs that he makes that we've seen all season. Been an impressive performer for Bournemouth this season.
England now 21 points to 7 up against Wales. They have 3 tries, need another one of course, but they are heading for a victory that would take them, if they get that extra try, the bonus point, to the top of the Six Nations. Ireland having won in Italy earlier on by 22 points to 17, and don't forget tonight France-Scotland from the Parc des Princes will be on 5 Live for you. Brentford attack down their left hand side with Kevin Schade, the German international, but the flag is raised for a throw in to Bournemouth. Don't forget you can catch up with all the reaction to the Six Nation on the Rugby Union Weekly on BBC Sounds, and catch the first episode of the new 7-part Sports Strangest Crime series on the Bloodgate scandal. That's out today. England have another try. They're 28 points to 7 up against Wales. On course then, after a little hiccup about 10 minutes ago. Bournemouth clear their lines deep into the Brentford half, and it's going to be collected once again by Mark Flecken. 5 clean sheets for him this season, but only 7 in his last 45 games. Launched long by Collins, who's playing on the right hand side of the centre half too, and into the hands of Kepa Arrizabalaga, who a lot of Chelsea fans tell me is still Chelsea's best goalkeeper, but he's not at Stamford Bridge these days. Strange one, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's interesting just seeing that we've got 2 teams here today that are doing so well in the season, but setting up virtually identical in the way that their formation sets up as well. And you've got 2 key players on either side. Justin Kluivert for Bournemouth, Mikkel Damsgaard for Brentford. Who's going to dominate their games on this match today to feed those strikers that are in such goal-scoring form for both teams? It's going to be the ones that really stamp their authority, try and get that first goal in the game. Always helps.
But there's a problem here. Head injury for Keane Lewis Potter. Now the boos you can hear. Bournemouth were away down the right hand side. They had a promising attack on, but the referee Craig Pawson had no choice. He thought it was a head injury. We're just watching it again. It was a very hefty fall. The referee wasn't to know that. In fact, I think he was injured around about the rib cage from the fall. On we go now then. 0-0 on Sports Extra. The ball launched long by the hefty Zabani on the right hand side, and it's trickling out of play. Zabani welcome back by Bournemouth, who haven't won in regulation time last 4. He started the season so brightly all through that autumn period. Brentford are taking their time at the moment. Earlier on in the Premier League, Ipswich 2, Nottingham Forest 4, Manchester City 2, Brighton 2, Everton 1, West Ham United 1. Injury time equaliser there from O'Brien. Southampton 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, which leaves Fanny's old side, Southampton, well, we've known for weeks and weeks and weeks they're staring relegation in the face, but it's almost now mathematical certainty. Wolves are 9 points clear of the bottom 3. Here's Semenyo now attacking for Bournemouth into the penalty area. Took a tumble. Referee waves away. Protest for a penalty. Christie hits it from the edge of the box. Collins blocked. 0-0 still on Sports Extra, and Bournemouth patiently building inside left position, cross chopped in by Tavernier, and Christie can't keep it in play. 0-0. Lovely day down here on the south coast, as we were saying. Your territory this, Fanny. Why didn't you tell me the wind could be so biting?
Yeah, I'm certainly not arriving in my shorts and flip-flops, JP, today, that's for sure. Beautiful conditions. And Bournemouth have started the game well, haven't they? Zipping the ball around pretty sharp, pretty swiftly. Just that delivery into the box on that last occasion. They've got a few opportunities coming down the left-hand side so far this afternoon. Moving the ball well. Brentford, the team that are on the back foot just slightly in these early stages.
Must be saddened to see Southampton's plight. Too good for the Championship, not good enough for the Premier League.
Oh, it's been such a hard watch all season, JP. That, you know, the excitement and the positivity after the playoff final and being promoted last season to literally seeing us struggle week in, week out has been a real hard thing to see.
Danny Benali, Southampton legend, played nearly 400 games for them, and is still regarded there as one of their great cult heroes of all time. It's going to be a throw for Brentford on the left. Kevin Shardew's been impressive this season with his 8 goals, only 23 years of age. You look at Mbeumo and think he's been around forever and a day. He's only 24 as well. They've got a potent strike force, Brentford. In comes the throw from Shardu, can throw them longer than that actually into the box. He's looking for big Nathan Collins. Let's get his head on it, and the ball trickles out of play. Still 0-0, I believe, in the Wycombe-Wrexham game in League One. It was suspended, that, because there was a medical emergency in the stands at Adams Park. Really important game, chasing down the leaders Birmingham City. The pair of them, Birmingham drew 1-1 at Northampton. They have 83 points. Then the pair at Adams Park have 68. Charlton have climbed to 4th in the table with a win today, and they've been in terrific form in 2025. Won 2-0 earlier on in the afternoon. Here's Cook then for Bournemouth, inside his own half, plays a diagonal ball out to Ryan Christie, who's having some season, Christie, and very consistent. He takes the return ball from Semenya. He started 52 of their last 57 games. He strokes the ball inside the Brentford right back, looking for the run of Semenya. Across came Collins to dig out a clearance, block challenge. The ricochets off the ginger-headed defender, and that's going to be a corner kick for Bournemouth.
Yep, good play by Bournemouth, and it's Semenya that forced the error into the corner, getting a few opportunities down that left-hand side, and the home supporters have been a little bit frustrated, expressing their disapproval to the referee and the Brentford team. A few of their restarts, whether it's a bit of a game plan from them today, they haven't really started some of the restarts particularly quick, just trying to take the sting out of the game a little bit.
Corner for Bournemouth on their left. Oh, it's arced in dangerously, and Flecken had to punch it out to the edge of the penalty, knocked back in there by Tavernier's header. And now Brentford can bring the ball down, try and play a little bit, but Damsgaard looks to the right hand side and hooks it forward to Mbeumo on the halfway line. And Mbeumo, shaven headed, white boots, tried to curl a crossfield ball to set Keane Lewis Potter away down the left. It was intercepted and then hoofed into the Brentford half, very, very deep. Wales 7, England 33 now. England have 5 tries in that game. That's half time at Principality. England are on the way to leading, but don't forget tonight there's that little matter of France against Scotland. France could steal it away from them, red hot favourites for that. This is a lovely run out from the back by Hudson for Bournemouth. He carried it 10, 15, 20 yards before unleashing a shot from just outside the penalty area. The gloved Amsterdam-born defender got a ricochet corner ball.
Yeah, it was a good job indeed that Nathan Collins was there to get his body in there. I think it was Collins. Good driving run though, no one going to close him, so he's going to have an opportunity from that kind of distance.
In comes that corner again, arcing in. Big commanding header away by Nathan Collins at 6'4", league ever present. Back into the box it goes, and there's a flag up, so it's a free kick for Brentford inside their own penalty area. I gave the Premier League scores from earlier. QPR 2, Leeds 2 in the Championship. QPR were 2 up in that game. QPR finished with 10 men. Swansea 0, Burnley 2, Coventry 3, Sunderland 0. Great run, Frank Lampard's team having West Bromwich Albion pegged back at home to Hull. That finished 1-1. Luton 0, Middlesbrough 0, Blackburn 1, Cardiff 2, Plymouth 2, Derby 3. Watford was 1-0. Preston I believe won their game 2-1 against Portsmouth Millwall earlier, 1-0 against Stoke with the last gasp penalty. It's going to be a throw to Bournemouth here on their right hand side. Cook takes it long, 0-0 on Sports Extra, and then hoofed over his shoulder by Vitaly Janelt for Brentford. Looking then up front for Johan Wissa, who typically chases down Christie but can't win the challenge. It is won though by Norgard tidily, and then cut to the left hand corner of the penalty area by Damsgaard. Bournemouth get it away but can't retain possession. Whistler, that's neatly done. Janelt has 2 yards of space on the left hand side of the penalty. In comes the cross, it slipped away from Damsgaard. Shooting opportunity, tried to take the touch, the opportunity was gone as Bournemouth got a block challenge in and cleared it away. Here's Tavernier now finding Lewis Cook, scooting down the right hand side, just in front of us, no more than 15 yards in front of our commentary position, to the edge of the penalty. Evan Nilsson lays it back. Here's Tavernier then at 0-0, out to Cook, yard in from the right touchline, about 18 yards from the goal line, and Tavernier strokes it back to Christian. Then they try and switch it away to the left hand side where Hassan steps out, the 19-year-old who's attracting rave attentions this season from top Premier League clubs. Cook angles it into the penalty area, that's the way through.
Great opportunity for Brentford, JP, wasn't it? I don't know why Damsgaard didn't maybe take an effort at goal, just strike it first time. He took a touch, it was a little bit too heavy. And then, as we've seen Bournemouth on many occasions this season, a quick counter-attack, racing up the other end of the pitch. It's those kind of transitions that can catch the opposition out, almost go from being potentially scoring a goal to all of a sudden possibly conceding.
With the way things are going for Liverpool at the top and the bottom three, we could come through to the last couple of weekends of the Premier League with no title nor relegation issues to be settled. I think the biggest issue will be the chase for Champions League positions, especially as we are likely to have 5 places for the Premier League and the Champions League next season, all the way down to Bournemouth, all in contention. Wrexham have beaten Wycombe by 1-0 in that really important game in League One. 1-0 to Wrexham.
When you think about that run-in, Bournemouth will be having high hopes, I'm sure, for European football. Oh, but it's
a chance in. Damsgaard into Schade, little slip on the edge of the penalty area, hardly cleared away. Up from the back, it's Aya to the right side of the penalty area, crossed low by Mbeumo, cleared away, and this is where Bournemouth can be so very, very dangerous on the counter. But look at Damsgaard scuttling across, gets the block challenge to dispossess Tavernier. 1-2 attempted by Wissa, and Bournemouth smother the opportunity just for a little while. In comes a chip ball into the penalty area there by Aya, and it's collected by the very, very quick Kepa Arrizabalaga, and he clears, and it's going to be a Bournemouth on the far side. 0-0.
And it's a quick replay as well, quick throw in from the left hand side, and Bournemouth are on the attack again.
Really unrelenting pace to the game. Evan Nilsson, you can see what he was trying to do. He broke into the penalty area between the 6-yard box and the far side of the area from us, and he tried to cross it to Semenya in the middle, but he got his body shape wrong and slanted the cross behind for a goal kick.
Both teams are moving the ball pretty well in just in and around the outside the 18-yard boxes of both ends of the pitch. You can see the confidence that the attacking players have got from both sides.
Voice of Franny Benali, MBE, I should add. I'm not often in the company of an MBE, Franny. It wouldn't surprise you, probably, anyone who knows me. It's going to be Flecken who gets it away. In then to Janelt, feet of Janelt. He turns with his blue boots and lays it back then to the tall figure of Ireland's Nathan Collins, walking out of defence with the ball at his feet. 0-0, and it's Ethan Pinnock who now has it. Left side centre back, the Jamaican international, long into the Bournemouth half. Cook was, well, almost beaten. I think it actually missed both he and Schade. Being played at such a high intensity and good pace, but does that make the passing quality suffer?
It can do at times. I think, out of the two teams, I think Bournemouth are the ones more keen to set the standard and the tempo of the game. Brentford, as the visiting team, just happy to slow things down and take the pace out of the game a little bit. So it seems to be down to Bournemouth, out of the two teams, to set that standard and tempo. And like I say, it just means sometimes that there's just a little pass that goes astray or a touch that's not quite right.
Pinnock played the last four for Brentford at the back. Now as Van den Berg's return to fitness will put his place under a little bit of pressure. Here's Lewis Potter steaming out of the fence over the halfway line, 10 yards inside the Bournemouth half. He swaps passes, or attempts to, with Sharda. The return ball to him was a little bit too long, and across came Ilya Zabani, the Kiev-born defender, Ukraine international, to clear his lines. Big popular character here is the 22-year-old Ukraine. Set it away for a throw into Brentford, 0-0 on Sports Extra. England leading in Wales by that big scoreline of 33 points to 7, heading for with the bonus point, heading for the top of the Six Nations. Throw by Brentford in from the left-hand side, seeks Wissa, but there was Dean Howson to clear it away. A stooping Collins wins possession back for Brentford with the header, and as soon as they get it, they give it away, and the game is now beginning to suffer with the lack of quality on the ball from both teams.
Yeah, it's a good point, JP. It's a little bit scrappy, isn't it? The game's gone that way. Both sides unable to really sort of maintain or keep possession for any real length of time. They're trying to break forward, trying to get up the pitch pretty quick, but with both teams pressing quite high up the pitch at times, the quality is just suffering a little bit, isn't it?
Here's Kirkes, who arrived from AZ Alkmaar for £17 million in July 2023. He's probably worth double that.
Looks good business now, doesn't it? Very good business. He's been a great performer for Bournemouth, but
he and House, he cost under 13 million. So you're talking 30 million the pair.
Incredible. Shows that, you know, Bournemouth things right, not just on the pitch but off it as well.
They are, with the owner Bill Foley coming in December 2022. Here's Semenyo on that left-hand side, seeks Kirkes, low cross in the middle, it's gone in! It's gone in! Well, Tavernier is taking the plaudits. If he got the header, he darted in front of three Brentford defenders who quickly switched off, but they're looking shamefaced at one another. Interesting to see the replay, whether or not this was his goal or an own goal. I fancy it may well have been an own goal by one of the Brentford players, and the TV cameras have closed in on Vitaly Yenal. But Bournemouth are ahead, that's all that matters to their fans.
Well, they've had a few opportunities down this left-hand side already, and that's where the goals come from again. Semenyo playing in Kirkes. Brentford don't stay with the run, and it certainly looks from the replay that it was an own goal. It's a simple one, really, not tracking the runners. It's a ball into the 6-yard box. Kluivert's in there, but it comes off one of the...
Janelt.
It is Janelt, yeah, and it loops up into the far corner.
It came off a defender who's turned his back on the cross. It hits him on the flank, and it goes in. In your playing day, had you turned your back on a cross, what would a Southampton manager said to you?
Well, it would have been stern words, certainly, if not from the manager, the teammates as well. That's what you're in there for as a defender. Put your body on the line, block those kind of things.
I'm not too sure that happens as often as it used to in the game, in the dressing room. Teammates rounding on a player. It used to happen all the time. It was part of the game. You made a mistake, often teammates were merciless to let you know, but that's the way you learn. For sure.
You know, if it wasn't out on the pitch, as you say, it would be in the dressing room. Half-time, full-time.
Bournemouth are ahead. Haven't beaten Brentford since August 2014. Kluivert, that's sloppy from a player of his ability and his form at the moment, but he was quickly won back by Bournemouth inside their own half. They lead by 1-0. Semenyo not strong enough though to win it against Ayer on the ground, just inside the Brentford half it was, so he fouled him, and the free kick goes against the former Bristol City player, the Ghanaian international, who really is living up to his tag. He had such a promising player at Bristol City. He learnt the hard way. They sent him out on loan to Bath and Newport. Now here come Brentford on the attack on the right hand side with Brian and Bumo attacking the penalty area. In comes a chip from Norgard, and it's headed down tamely by Sharda and straight to Kepa, who went to run to the edge of the penalty and release quickly, and he was pulled back there by Johan Wissa, and he's none too pleased with that bark towards the referee, who just simply said get on with it.
Decent little ball into the box from Brentford. They had the numbers in the box, but Sharda's header just not directed in the right directions for one of his teammates as the knockdown. Certainly wasn't an attempt at goal from that kind of distance, the way that he just gently tried nodding it down. But he got more defending to do. Bournemouth are on the front foot again.
They are halfway inside the Brentford half. Clive with a lovely ball, looking for Tavernier to attack it. He's kept the ball in play, shielding it now against Lewis Potter, who's holding on to his hand. Mind you, Tavernier was holding on as well. From one angle it looked like almost like a blatant penalty, but then you realise what was going on. Still Bournemouth push. Here's Tavernier. He's taken up some good positions for Bournemouth so far. They're 1-0 up on Sports Extra. Here's Adams. His return to fitness. He was out until late October with a back injury. Has really coincided with that purple patch. They were on the 11-game unbeaten run in the Premier between November and January. They have lost their way a little bit, but this will put them right back in the thick of things, the chase for Europe. Zabarnyi tries to hook a pass away to the left-hand side, deflected through though, and Brentford, as soon as they get it to Damsgaard, he lost possession because of the press. Bournemouth are pressing all over the place.
Yeah, they do that really well, JP, don't they? It's clearly something that Iraola has sort of impressed onto his team. Makes it so hard to pick your head up and pick passes out. There's always a Bournemouth player or a shirt closing you right down as soon as you pick the ball up.
Little cross from Schade came to nothing. By the way, the pressing game is not new to the Premier League. Another former Southampton hero. If anyone ever tells me Alan Ball didn't do any pressing, well, they never saw him play. It's been around a long, long while. Schade tucks it in here to Lewis Potter, running from left to right, lays it off to the edge of the penalty area, comes to Schade, not for the first time in the game. He's miscontrolled a chance, a shooting opportunity. Bournemouth clear.
Again, as you say, JP, what a fantastic chance. I'm amazed that none of the Brentford players so far have just took a little bit of a gamble, have a little shot, an effort at goal, rather than just almost walk the ball in, take that perfect touch.
That's given away by Brentford on the edge of the penalty area. Worked through to Evan Nielsen, but the flag was up and it won't count. It's offside. Interesting to see who pushed that ball through to Evan Nielsen. So I had a little, maybe my eyes deceived me. I thought it came off a Brentford player. Aya was on the ball. No, it was a Bournemouth player.
Slight touch off
Semenyo.
It's the right call.
England winning in the rugby and winning convincingly in Wales. Keep you updated on that one at half-time. In this one, by the way, you'll hear the thoughts of Alan Shearer on the way to Wembley for the League Cup final tomorrow, the Carabao Cup final. Arsenal against Chelsea in the Premier League is before that in 5 Live Sunday commentaries. Then we'll have the final for you live from 4:30, and then that's followed by Leicester against Manchester United in the Premier League at 7. Here's Semenyo for Bournemouth into the box, and a half volley away by Nathan Collins finds a very, very fine player, Christian Norgard. He tucks a pass out to Mbumo on the right side, cuts in from the right, still deep inside his own half. He chips along, looks in front of Schade, who's gone centre forward now, rather ducked out of a challenge there with Dean Howson, and it's going to be a throw to Bournemouth.
I think that just shows how the dynamics of the game have gone so far, JP. You've got Brian Mbumo almost like playing as a defender stroke midfielder, trying to be the one to win the ball back and release his teammates, trying to play the ball forward early there. He wants to be up much higher up the pitch with his team, looking to receive the ball, being a danger man himself. Shows how much they're on the back foot a little bit in these early stages.
1-0 will still be tight, may go beyond the 90-minute mark, because Bournemouth have scored 8 goals in second half stoppage time, more than any other side in the Premier League this season, and Brentford have conceded 6 goals in second half stoppage time. Only Villa have conceded more at the death of a game. Little word out there from the Brentford coach to Marcus Tavernier, who's playing very well on this right hand side for them, unsung sort of a hero. He's had his lull since joining from Middlesbrough in the August of 2022, scored in the 2-2 at Tottenham last week. Lewis Potter with a throw down the line. Bournemouth 1-0 up. Whistler thinks it's a Brentford throw. It's given the other way though, right in front of the dugouts down below us. We're really low down in the main stand at the Vitality Stadium that was spun around from the old Dean Court from years and years ago, if you ever came down. Here's now Whistler, who's lost possession to a tenacious Lewis Cook, and the former Leeds player, one shy of 250 games for the club now, plays it back to the goalkeeper. He's remarkably consistent as well, Cook. He's started 51 of the last 54 games. Kepa taking his time. Next goal he concedes, by the way, will be the 400th of his career. Not a wanted milestone. Sharda's gone to the right now for Brentford. He was just upended by Semenya. The referee saying play on. Bournemouth leading 1-0. We've had 25 minutes on Sports Edge. Highlights of all tonight's Premier League games in Match of the Day from 10:30. Gary Lineker has Alan Shearer and Danny Murphy with him, and then Alan will be hot-footing it away down to Wembley Stadium. Here's Tavernier, hoisted over his shoulder, high up and under to the centre circle. Norgard plants a sensible header down then to Johan Wissa. He's only 3 or 4 yards inside the Brentford half, tucks it to the right side. Big Ayer over, doesn't look like a right back, he's massive at 6'6". Into Norgard, who's an intelligent player, and lays an intelligent ball through the gap here to Wissa. Wissa to the dead ball line, shoots high, shoots over, flag was up for offside, wouldn't have counted.
More promising from Brentford, apart from the assistant referee's flag going up for offside. It was a good bit of play down the right hand side from Brentford. It was Wissa just trying to check his run. Looks like he probably was onside, I think, just seeing a quick briefly one. So I mean, the shot was pretty awful, pretty much like one of my kind of shots, I think, but he did well timing it in. I think he would have been onside had the chance been better, but just seeing a replay of a previous attempt. Sharda's touch in the 18-yard box, too heavy, but more promising from Brentford.
I think you've been very harsh on yourself there. I think the 366 Southampton games, there was the one goal.
At least one. There was at least one, thankfully, and a few own goals as well.
There's a free kick against Sharda. They really haven't got going, Brentford, in the way they have been playing away from home. The referee's pulled this back. Free kick was taken too quickly by Bournemouth, and indeed the referee is having a little word with Tyler Adams and saying wait for the whistle. You look at Brentford's away form of late. They scorched it 4-0 at Leicester. They won 1-0 at West Ham. Good victory 2-1 at Crystal Palace. They thrashed Southampton away at St Mary's by 5-0. Got a decent 0-0 at Brighton as well. But at home they've been a different side, and to be honest, they're a different side here tonight. They've been, I think, disappointing for their manager. I think Thomas Frank will look at their squandering of possession. The turnover's too quick and be unhappy. Here's Damsgaard to Norgard at the stretch. Look for Wissa, and his pass out wide to Mbumo was careless. He didn't look. He hit it first time and ended up at the feet of Milos Kerkez.
Brentford have been pretty decent, haven't they, recently? Sort of unbeaten in their last 5 away games. 4 wins and a draw.
Here's Bournemouth on the attack again, though. On that left-hand side of the penalty area, Cliver cross wires between he and Evan Nielsen. He thought Evan Nielsen was going to make a run into the heart, well, towards the 6-yard area, and he didn't. That's where he played the ball, and it's straight through to Mark Flecken, and Bournemouth still lead by 1-0. The Janelt own goal. It came off his flank from a dangerous cross from the right-hand side. Congratulations to the Chelsea women under coach Bon Pastor, their first trophy for her, beating Manchester City 2-1 at Pride Park in the Women's League Cup final earlier on in the day. 1-0 up through Ramirez, and then Manchester City levelled it up before an own goal by Hasegawa won it for Chelsea. They meet again in the Champions League, 2 ties, and the Cup, I think it is, in the next 12 days. Now here is Mbumo on the right side for Brentford, halfway inside the Bournemouth half. To his left, 10 yards away is Norgard. It's a lovely release to Damsgaard. Big chance here for Brentford. Damsgaard went to pull it back, saw Jan out there. He saw the arriving Ayer. He drilled the pass, but Bournemouth had enough red and black shirts back there to block and get it away. I think it was Tyler Adams who got the block in.
Much better from Brentford. It's great play. Little ball in from Damsgaard. He was just waiting for a little bit of a movement from one of his teammates, but just that split-second delay of playing the ball enables the Bournemouth defenders to get across and put it out for a corner.
Corner kick for Brentford on their right. It's their first corner of the game. They trail 1-0. In it comes from Mbumo, and it's glanced in for the equaliser by Johan Wissa as Kepa came for the cross and was left hanging out with the washing. Got nowhere near it. One apiece.
Well, how many times do we see that? A team that haven't started particularly great going a goal down. It was a good build-up and good bit of play to win the corner, but you've got to look at Kepa. decision to come. If the goalkeeper comes, he's got to take something out. He's got to get some kind of contact on the ball. He was nowhere near it. Wissa has done what he's done on many occasions already this season, just got that little glance into an empty net. It's a good delivery in from Mbeumo. The keeper comes, he's nowhere near it, and Brentford are back on level terms, 1-1.
Oh, he got there late as well, Kepa. The ball was in the back of the net before he would have even got there, to be honest. It's one apiece. It's Wissa's 15th goal this season. He's now scored in 13 separate matches, and he has a hand in 5 goals now in 3 appearances in a row against Bournemouth. 4 he scored, he has 1 assist. Norgard, another excellent ball from him, away towards Bryan Mbeumo, attacking the Bournemouth penalty area. Wissa to his left, he goes for goal, and it's away wide off a deflection. It'll be a corner kick. The referee's just catching up with this, looks at his assistant, who doesn't give him any help, and then he gives the corner.
Well, it's a quick counter-attack. Mbeumo's first touch was excellent, then he skips inside 2 Bournemouth players, unleashes the left foot shot, and it's just past the post. It takes that little deflection, as you say, JP, for another corner, an exact replica of what they've just scored from a minute or 2 ago.
4 away league wins on the spin, unbeaten away since December the 15th when they went to Chelsea, but now they're playing in this game and the vitality more like that Brentford side we've become accustomed to seeing. Still pale blue skies overhead, the tinge of pink now to the evening clouds, which are solitary and by nature above us. 1 or 2 or 3 of them puffed into the blue, standing by themselves in acres of that lovely evening blue, and the wind has dropped completely. In comes the cross here from Mbeumo. Kepa did get to that one, punches it to the edge of the penalty area. Brentford find Damsgaard on the ball. There's a chip into the centre halves who both stayed forward. It's loose and it's wide, and that's a big chance for Brentford. Sharda is shouting at the referee for something, but it's a goal kick.
Not quite sure what he is shouting at, but he's clearly unhappy with something. It might have been a little bit of contact. He's maybe asking for a bit of a pull, but it was a very good chance, as you say, for Brentford to have gone from being 1 down to potentially leading the game 2-1, but we're still level.
I don't think Howson was doing anything wrong. The defender was tucked up behind him. One of the big reasons for me, Franny, why Bournemouth are now behind and Brentford have taken the upper hand in this, the passing of Christian Norgard. Absolutely excellent. In a game that lacked quality passing, all of a sudden he's found his range.
Yeah, and it often takes just one player sometimes, doesn't it, JP, to just stamp their authority on the game, and if they've got that ability and that range of passing as well, as Norgard does, it can make such a difference to a team.
Man who had that particular talent in that Southampton team, the man they look to for so many important moments, important goals in important games. One Matthew Le Tissier, one of the best I've ever seen playing English football. Should have won more England caps in my opinion, Fanny, but that's a different story.
Yeah, the thing is, when you've got players like that, like a Norgard or somebody like a Matt back in the day, we used to say, there's positions they are on the pitch where you don't think they'll find a pass, but those kind of guys just say to the teammates, make the runs, I'll find you somehow.
And if you can get a show reel of Matt Le Tissier goals on social media, if you don't know him, then find that show reel and watch the goals. Some of them are outstanding. Southampton could do with him now, couldn't they? Here's Norgard with another one. This is a different sort of a ball, looped away towards the left-hand side, looking for Wissa, who's claiming that was handled by Zabani as he bypassed the Ukraine defender, but there to cover behind him was Cook. Strokes it forward here to Tavernier. It's 1-1. Don't think we've seen the last of the goals. Tavernier strokes a pass inside right position. Kluivert attacking the penalty area. Pinnock backing away from him, and Kluivert just dives inside, looks for Semenya. It's a great block. Ricochets to Kluivert, going again on that left foot. Little drag back, defenders on the ground, and the chip from Kluivert has gone towards the far side of the penalty area, where Evan Nielsen is chased over there by Bryan Mbeumo between the penalty area and the far touchline, and Bournemouth will come again here with the tall figure, the fair-haired figure of Amsterdam-born Dean Hudson. Bournemouth still in possession. Adams. Now it's Sabani, halfway inside the Brentford half. Brentford camped back, either inside the penalty or just outside it. The ball releases Kirkes, high lofted cross all the way through the penalty area, and it's a poor attempt at a clearance there by Sharda. Bournemouth have it back again. Adams into the box. Out it goes then by the tall figure of Collins, and Brentford can't get a boot on the ball at the moment, and Bournemouth keep coming back at them. 1-1 with 34 minutes God, England still winning in the rugby 33-7, by the way.
Better play from Clivert there. His first touch taking him infield before he drove forward and released Evan Nielsen. That's what we're used to seeing from Bournemouth. That quick, positive counter-attack. Just unable to find one of his teammates when he clipped the ball up to the far post, but they're still in the last third for Brentford. The ball in.
Husson with it, and the goalkeeper has to parry it away because Evan Nielsen, strange-looking finish, almost beat the goalkeeper who had to hop. Big man in goal, 6'4" Mark Flecken, and he poured underneath the bar.
Yeah, Evan Nielsen just not really able to get the contact on it that he's looking for, but they're pushing. Bournemouth got Brentford on the back foot once again.
Lovely game, it swung either way. Here's Semenya to attack the right side of the Brentford defence. I got it away, but not too far. Bournemouth cross in the middle again, and Flecken stretches and brings it down and will clear it away. Don't forget, we have coverage for you, live F1 commentary. The Australian Grand Prix kicks off the new season 5 live from 3:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. We've got all that rugby reaction. We've got live commentary of the third round of the Players' Championship Golf on Sports Extra tonight from 7:30. And McElroy, couple of shots off the lead in that. Here's Damsgaard out wide towards the right side then for Brentford as they attack the Bournemouth half. I was over there looking for Mbumo, little turn, rolls it back to Mikkel Damsgaard, who's having such a good season for Brentford. He's an ever-present. They're pushing down that right side against the Bournemouth defence at 1-1. Here's Whistle with a lovely little turn, and he lays it out wide towards that far side again. In comes a little cross from Damsgaard into the box. Good chance to get to the dead ball line. It's pulled back by Ayer and over by Janelt. Under a little bit of pressure, and good pressure it was, that did just enough. Tavernier went with him and he skied it over the bar. Big chance.
You're spot on, JP. The pressure just from Tavernier, he does just enough to put him off Janelt, and his shot goes high over the bar. For a split second you think he's just going to get in front of Tavernier and he'd have a good opportunity of at least hitting the target.
Victory for Bournemouth would take them above Villa, Brighton and Newcastle. They'd be a point behind Manchester City, who are fifth after their 2-2 draw with Brighton. Haaland from the pot. Stupinian levelled it up. Marmouche for Manchester City, and then young Hinshaw with 3 minutes into the second half in that game. Sounds like a real belter. Don't forget, match of the day tonight, as I mentioned, 10:30 on BBC One with Gary and the team. All those commentary matches we have for you tomorrow. We've got the golf, we've got Rugby League as well, Super League, ongoing Wigan Warriors against Hull. Keep you up to date with that best I can from down here at the Vitale. It's lovely as the evenings just stretch out a little bit, that we've still got daylight here. As Brentford have a free kick, 5 yards inside their own half. It's about 5 yards in from the far touchline. That's where the Brentford fans are, right by the television gantry on that far side. The referee's having a little word here with one or two. What happened there, Franny?
I think it was Worcester sort of looking to maybe make one of those little runs through. It's clearly something that they felt Mr. Pawson had to step in and just have a little word with one or two of the players, just looking to block those runs.
Flecken with a high up and under then, looking there for Collins to head it forward on the edge of the penalty, headed it square, and Adams cleared it away initially. Damsgaard was very, very quickly by Ryan Christie, who gets through so much work, the Scottish international. He cleared it the halfway line, and Boomer was back there deep to pick up possession, and with him and winning the ball back in terrific style was Clivert, and momentarily they had an overload then on a 4-on-3. The pass out wide though to Christie found his touch ball. Norgard gets in the challenge, it ricochets off the Dane, and Bournemouth have a throw in about 20 yards from the goal line on that far side from us. That's the Bournemouth left at 1-1.
It's really good to see, isn't it? You know, what we've become accustomed to whenever there is that quick turnover, the speed and the pace that the Bournemouth players of all positions running forward to give opportunities to the player on the ball. It makes such a difference when they do it that quick. It's swift, it's quick, it's precise. It's just a case of making that right choice, picking out the right pass when they get the numbers forward.
Highest ever crowds here on average at the Vitality. 11,193 is the average. It's remarkable this club could be in Europe next season with this stadium. Don't forget, it was a club that nearly went out of business. Eddie Howe and others held a bucket coin collection around the town to save this club. And they're under pressure here now. This is a good break here from Brentford. Sharda's cross, but he didn't look. He zipped it through the penalty area after a lovely run with full of pace. Had he looked, he could have pulled it back to Wissa, but the cross flashed on through, gave Bournemouth possession, which they've used intelligently. They're now halfway inside the Brentford half. It's 1-1. Here's Kluivert, who spins a flat pass away to the left-hand side. Sharda, having given the ball away, he's just left the penalty area for Brentford. He's way downfield. I think his manager will be particularly pleased with that. Here's Cook now for Bournemouth. They're on the right-hand touchline, very nearly. Cook once again interchanging passes with Tavernier. It's a nice combination they have going on the Bournemouth right-hand side. They've got good players. They're where they are in the league on merit. There's no fluke. Here's Christie combining with Tyler Adams, the New York State-born, United States of America international of some 42 appearances. To his left-hand side was Howson. Into the box it goes now with a low cross. Not fizzed in really. It was hit with no great pace by Kerkers and easily thumped away by Nathan Collins, who's had such a strong run. He's only missed one game. And it's a goal kick to Brentford away to our right-hand side. 1-1 with 4 minutes to go at the end of a very interesting first half running.
It certainly is, JP, and Sharda on that moments ago, his first touch taking him past the defender was brilliant, but he just doesn't look at the little cutback that Wissa makes to. It would have been a simple cutback for him to just tap in and have an attempt at goal, but as you said rightly, I don't think he picked his head up and saw the run of Wissa, and then to see him literally take a good 30 seconds to a minute to literally just walk back into his own half from a defensive perspective would have not gone down particularly well with many on the Brentford side, I don't think.
England 33-7 up in Cardiff. It would take them, because they've got the bonus point from the tries, to 20 points above the Irish, with France still to come against Scotland. They could ruin the party. France, I think, pre-tournament favourites for so many, destroyed Ireland last week. Here's Kluivert, who's destroyed many a defence this season. And 6 of his goals, I have to say, have been from the penalty spot. Tavernier into the box. Here's Evan Nielsen. He's gone for goal with a low grubber of a cross shot that goes well wide of the far post from the Brazilian, the 25-year-old from Fortaleza. It's going to be a goal kick.
Clever little movement from Evan Nielsen. He's got some big guys in there he's up against, trying to sort of free himself. Pinnock sticking close to him. He had no real choice but to pull his shot a little bit like he did because of Pinnock's position, but England, just finding a little bit of room.
England 47 up now. Tries from Itoje, Roebuck, Freeman, Cunningham South, Stewart and Mitchell. Bournemouth have possession. Adams allowed to run free inside the Brentford half. To his left hand side is Christie. Here's Semenya, right hand corner of the box as Brentford will see it. Draws the pass back to Christie. Thought about a burst into the penalty area. Shoots! Would have gone in, it's gone wide, but it would have beaten Mark Flecken, and he knew it.
Well, Flecken, as you say, JP, wasn't reacting to that shot. It fizzed across the face of the goal, didn't it? Just had a little bit of whip on it where he struck it with his left foot, which was taking it away from the goal all the time. And Christie puts his hands on top of his head. It was a good chance to have at least struck the target.
Earlier on 5 Live, you'd have heard the excellent commentary from Ian Dennis and Paul Robinson as Forest won 4-2 at Ipswich, who now look doomed. Manchester City 2, Brighton 2, Everton 1, West Ham 1. So Jacob put West Ham ahead. Jake O'Brien in injury time levelled it up. Wolves 1-2-1 at Southampton 2 from Strand Larsen. They're on who actually pulled one back. It's 1-1 here, and Damsgaard, you can see what he's trying to do. They're trying to thread these passes between the Bournemouth centre-backs and the full-backs, and more often than not it's coming off. On that occasion it did. Yeah,
both sides are really dangerous when in that final third, aren't they? They've got the players with the ability, the pace, the quickness, the directness to make those little runs. It's just a case of the supply coming into them. If it's right, then the chances are they're going to be in on goal with an attempt against the goalkeeper.
Now, feature games in the Championship. QPR 2, Leeds 2, Swansea 0, Burnley 2. Putting the pressure on Leeds United at the top then. Burnley, Coventry 3, Sunderland 0, West Brom 1, Hull 1. Wright scored a hat-trick in that game for Coventry, by the way. Luton 0-0 with Middlesbrough. Luton deep in trouble. Cardiff won 2-1 at Blackburn. Mighty win for them. to increase Luton peril, and Derby County winning at Plymouth by 3-2 to increase the peril of Plymouth and Luton. Trying to stroke a pass into the penalty area. Evan Nielsen was making the run. That's blocked back there by the tall figure of Collins, who's had a very strong performance for Brentford at the back. We're into the last 10 seconds of the first half. We'll await the board from the fourth official to know how much stoppage time we've got. It's going to go up any moment now. It's one apiece. We've got 1 minute of stoppage time. Reflects really the helter-skelter pace of the first period. We haven't had many stoppages at all. It's Adams with the chip ball, looking for the run of Evan Nelson, and away it goes then from Ethan Pinnock, who's played at every level of the game. Ethan Pinnock, it's astonishing really. And here's a cross shot from Semenya that was arcing, it was dipping, but too late. It's over, it's a goal kick. And that might just about do us for the first half, I would think.
Yep, pretty much it. It's scores are level, and I'd say on the reflection of the first half, JP, that's pretty much right for both sides. The game's sort of ebbed and flowed a little bit. Each side has had an opportunity to dominate at certain periods, but it's been pretty open, hasn't it? Both sides still clearly looking to find those attacking players in those positions. You can see how both sides have been successful and done well in the Premier League this season.
There's Zabani with a hopeful ball forward, 25 yards to Evan Nielsen. His pressure on Pinnock would have given Bournemouth a throw, but the half-time whistle blows, one apiece. Bournemouth taking the lead with a Yannock own goal as he half turned his back on a cross from the left-hand side, ricochet beyond the goalkeeper, and then Johan Wissa heading Brentford level just shy of the half hour after Kepa came from across and got nowhere near it. What are your thoughts so far, Franny?
Yeah, as I just touched on, JP, I think it's the scoreline reflects the game that we've seen in these first 45 minutes. Bournemouth had the better of the exchanges early on, took the lead, and then Brentford did well to work their way back into it. But it's one of those, the game's been pretty open, hasn't it? Defences have done quite well at times. The game went a little bit scrappy at one point, but I think it's one of those. It's an exciting game. Both teams trying to do positive things in the final third. I'm looking forward to the second half.
Enjoying work with Franny Benali today down here at the Vitality. Now Steve Crossan will be at Wembley tomorrow alongside John Murray, Ian Dennis, Stephen Warnock and Isaac Hayden for the League Cup final between Liverpool and Newcastle United, of course. Liverpool having gone out to the Champions League. Can they hit back tomorrow? Commentary of that match will be on 5 Live from 4:30 with all the build-up from 3:30. That's after the Arsenal-Chelsea Premier League game. I'm there for Match of the Day, by the way. Earlier today, Mark Chapman spoke to Joe Hart, to James McFadden and to Alan Shearer. Alan travelling down to Wembley in good spirits.
In great spirit, yeah. Confident, excited, nervous, all of those things.
What gives you confidence? As in about the, not in life, about the game.
Newcastle winning on Monday evening, didn't play particularly well, but I think it was an important win. Liverpool going to extra time could only benefit Newcastle in the penalties. One or two knocks that Liverpool might have picked up. So all those small little things, you never know.
How do you see it?
Tight, really tight.
Tighter than maybe you thought it would be a week ago because of how things have gone?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, football moves quickly. Lots of factors coming in. Onslaught, Liverpool, very much a dominant force this season. Not really too much to contend with in terms of outside noise. A lot of respect, a lot of people congratulating them on what is a superb season so far. But it just feels strange, doesn't it? It will feel strange for them. 1 minute they're on all four fronts, then they go out to Plymouth, then they go out. It's disappointing, no getting away from it on Tuesday night. They put themselves in a great position with a 1-0 away lead. Although PSG are a very good team, they still would have believed they could do it. At the great Anfield, they lost on penalties. All those sorts of things just play into Newcastle's favour.
Given the intense nature of those two legs, but particularly that second leg and everything that went into it, there will be some mental exhaustion, surely, off the back of that.
Yeah, but that's the point in being the best. You deal with mental exhaustion, you deal with those moments, you're able to put things to bed a whole lot quicker when you're at the top of your game, and you understand that a win or a loss happens on the night, you deal with it, you process. I'm sure Liverpool would have probably been disappointed for a day, maybe the day after, but now they've been totally focused on what they're doing. These are top athletes, top professionals. They've got a great manager who's proved many times that he isn't going to let anyone's mind slip from the job in hand. So as difficult as it is, they're more than capable of doing it.
Do you think it's been slightly different this time for Newcastle? than what it was 2 years ago. I think there's been less noise. I think it's been more normal. Perhaps just trying to say it's just another game and try and treat it like that. Because 2 years ago when they went there, because whether you like it or not, you're never going to get away from the fact that Newcastle haven't won anything for 70 years. Their last trophy was in 1969 domestically. I mean, so that you can't ever get away from that talk. You have to deal with that and handle it. But I just think there's been less noise coming out of the football club this time. It's just been as normal as possible, I think.
Well, from being there that night that they knocked Arsenal out for that second leg, and speaking to several of them afterwards when they came to join us, from Eddie Howe to Bruno Guimaraes to Trippier to Byrne, who all came to talk to us. There was a when they got through the previous time when they beat, it was Southampton in the semi-finals, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
So that felt like party time that night when they won that second leg at St James's, proper party time. This time, and I include the supporters in this, it was a lap of honour, lots of applause, lots of great, we're in the final, but not like job done.
Yeah, I think it's certainly been more business-like this time. I think it's, great, we're there, and let's just calm everything down and dampen everything down. And there's definitely been a feel of that from me and in Newcastle. I mean, maybe not from the fans, because we all get excited and we all have to do and say things that, because we just love the football club. I mean, coming down, travelling today on the A1, the cars, I mean, on the motorway with the flags and scarves hanging out the window, it'll be insane in London tonight from the Newcastle fans. But I just think from a football club point of view, they've been much more business-like and just another game like this time.
Where can they hurt Liverpool, James, do you think?
I think the obvious is Isak. You know, the way that he's scoring goals, but also his all-round play and how he leads the line. I think that, you know, it's interesting because, you know, I agree with the point that the last time it was like, oh, great, you know, Newcastle have reached a final, that's amazing. And probably a bit of expectation that they could win, and obviously didn't perform on the day. But I think when you look at winning the game against Arsenal, the first leg, and backing it up with the second leg victory as well, I think that this is a team that understand that they believe they can win, and it's about winning trophies now. It's not about, you know, the story of, oh, look at Newcastle, they're doing great, aren't they? Pats in the back. They want to win trophies. They want silverware. And I think that overall the team is strong all over the pitch. I think the midfield's excellent. Great balance, great dynamic about it. But there's no doubt for me that he's the star man. He's the one that you would look and say, against a very strong defensive Liverpool side, that he can cause them problems in getting chances, but also physically.
Yeah, I was just thinking on the point previous. I personally enjoyed it a whole lot more. The first final that we got to, Manchester City, was, you know, similar sort of story. 30 years, hadn't won and it was very much, can't believe you got to the final. You know, all those sorts of conversations, and they're great. But at the same time, as a player, you start thinking like, you need to take us seriously here. We're not just here to be in a final, and that's why I much preferred about the latter end of my career, especially with City and with Celtic. I loved the conversations in and around the games when they weren't, you know, who's coming? Are your school teachers coming? And you're getting everyone up. It was no. It was a conversation about how you're going to win the game, how you're going to take care of business. And as Alan's just talked about there, I feel like that conversation is far more important around this Newcastle Cup final on Sunday than it was a couple of years ago. And like I say, it was who's going to come and who's going to experience and soak up the day. No, it's about who's coming to watch you win and try and do something really, really special. And
a lot of this team and the coaching staff had the hurt of 2 years ago.
Yep.
And it hurts. Wembley's a place for winners. That's it. It's an awful place when you walk off that pitch and you haven't won. It really is. And they've had that hurt. So I just hope that can spur them on also. Yeah, I know they've got injuries. Got Lewis Hall's out. Obviously, Gordon's out suspended, which will be a big miss.
How he shapes that left side. Bearing in mind there's no Alexander-Arnold as well for Liverpool. So we know Lewis Hall and no Anthony Gordon will be interesting.
Yeah, I think the team that he played on Monday evening at West Ham won't be too far away from the team that starts tomorrow. I think certainly Livramento will go to left back, which has got a huge task in trying to stop Mo Salah. That's going to be one key battle. Obviously, the other one is Isak against Van Dijk. He's already scored. Well, he scored against him at St James's Park, didn't he? And the midfield is a great battle because Liverpool's midfield three are brilliant, but Newcastle's are as well. And whoever.
I mean, there's an argument, isn't there? It's the best two midfield threes. Yeah. If you see what I mean.
Well said.
I don't know. Got there in the Premier League.
Yeah, I wouldn't go away from that. Absolutely. I mean, when you consider Liverpool beginning of the season, we're looking to bring another midfielder in and couldn't. But the midfield that he's played for a lot of the time has been a standout for them. But Newcastle are really strong there with Joelinton, Tonali and Guimaraes there. That's as good as you're going to get, I think. They've got pretty much everything, and whoever wins that battle, it could end up being a huge part of the game. I'm sure it will be.
Well, the thoughts there of the three boys about tomorrow's Carabao Cup final. What about the thoughts of Franny Bernardo, who played in an FA Cup final for Southampton against Arsenal back in 2003? I think it was Franny on the losing side that day. What are your thoughts about that League Cup final tomorrow?
Well, it sets up to be a fantastic game, doesn't it? I mean, you know, we've sort of seen and heard so much about Newcastle's sort of efforts and struggles to win a trophy and get some success, but it's an opportunity. But you've got to say it's the opponents that are up against. I mean, they're in such fine form this season, aren't they? And it's going to be a difficult game, clearly, but I always felt that as a player, and even now as a pundit and a fan of the sport, that in any one-off game, I think sort of form can often go out the game. It's who turns up, who puts the performance in on the day. You just never know how maybe a decision could go for or against you. It's shaped up to be a fantastic one, and the support, I'm sure, the atmosphere at the stadium will be absolutely incredible.
Just seen an advert up on the big TV screens here for an evening out with Tony Pulis and Harry Redknapp. That'll be interesting. And I think you can contact Bournemouth if you want any more details on that. But some great stories to be told that night down here. What's going to happen in the second half? 1-1 between Bournemouth and Brentford, Franny?
I think, both managers have been saying, just got to up our game a little bit, be better just on a final delivery, a final ball into the box or a final pass one or two times. There was a few occasions I thought Brentford in the first half should have just taken a chance at goal a little bit quicker and with a bit more quality at times. I think, both these teams are capable of opening one another up. It's finely poised, it's perfectly balanced. I'd expect Bournemouth being the team more that come out to look to win this game of football. I think Brentford will be quite happy with how things are at the moment. They'll look to stay in the game for as long as they can, and then look to potentially sort of pinch something near the end. But I think it's a lively game end to end at times, and looking forward to the second 45.
Quality is shone in the end in Cardiff. Not over yet, but it's England 52, or Wales 7, England 52, I should say. So they are on the way to the top of the Six Nations table before we bring you France against Scotland a little bit later on in the evening on 5 Live. That game kicks off at 8 o'clock. So our Orchard will be there for you on 5 Live. We're just awaiting the players coming out for the second half. Don't think either manager will can't see why they would make a change at half time unless there's a fitness issue.
No reason. I think the fact that we saw only one change from both teams at the starting lineups meant that both managers are happy with the lineups that they had, the players that they've got in the starting team. So the way that the game's gone, I don't see any reason for either manager, unless it's an injury, as you say, to make any changes just yet.
Got a hot cup of tea brought up to us in the commentary position here on Sports Extra. The evening has drawn on. The colour of the sky above us now, colour of plum jelly, and we're nearly ready to go in the second half. Well, we will be when the players come out. That's always a bonus, I find, for a game of football.
It would help, wouldn't it? It would help.
Yeah.
But we got the biscuits to go with the drinks as well, which is very nice indeed. So thank you, T.
I tell you what, I thought it was going to be raw here, Franny. When we kicked off, there was that wind coming in from over the far stand. It was biting, it was cold, it was nasty. But that wind dropped as soon as we got going.
Yeah, it's settled down a little bit. It's not as bad as what it could have been clearly, in that I think we've both been here when it's been really biting. If the wind does pick up in a smaller stadium, I think it can tend to do that, can't it, as opposed to the bigger stadiums with a more of a bowl effect.
54-7 now to England at the Principality. Out come Brentford then for the second half in their pink shirts and the purple shorts. You can see 10 outfield players out there and no change. Mark Flecken is hopping about in the goalmouth to our left-hand side, with the ground staff here at the Vitality are doing their very, very best, forking away one or two tiny little divots. It's a bowling green of a pitch. It's absolutely immaculate, as they all are these days, with the unique weave, glass and artificial. And out come Bournemouth now in the red and black striped shirts, black shorts, black socks. 3, 6, 10 outfield players there, so no changes from them either, which means that Brentford will be kicking off with Mark Flecken in goal, Ayer, Collins, Pinnock and Lewis Potter at about 4, Janelt and Norgard holding in midfield, and Bumo, Damsgaard, Schade and their goal scorer Wissa up front. Brentford with Kepa in goal, Cook, Zabani, Housen, Kirkes, then Christian Adams in midfield, Tavernier on the right, Kluivert in the 10 role, and Semenya on the left, and Evan Nilsson up front. Their goal was an own goal, ricocheted in off Italiano. The referee is out there. Craig Pawson, his two assistants, Tim Wood on this near side and Wade Smith are in position, and we're nearly ready to go at 1-1 on Sports Extra. Very delicately balanced. Bournemouth need the win to go back into the top 6. Brentford need the win to claw their way back up to the fringe of the European chase. And here we go then for the second 45 minutes of the game. Brentford immediately play it back then towards Mark Flecken, the Dutch international goalkeeper, launches long through the middle, and Zabani with those big broad shoulders heads it away, then comes to meet the ball. Zabani typically wearing a short sleeved shirt, as are lots of the Bournemouth players, and he just makes sure that ball rolls out of play off the foot of Kevin Schade. It seems like we've been criticising Schade quite a lot. Twice he had possible shooting opportunities, didn't use them. He's got pace, he can still play a massive role in this game.
Oh, most definitely. And there's one or two players that probably haven't been on top of their game. You know, Schade 1 or 2 times, as we mentioned, just could have done a little bit better. I think Semenyo for Bournemouth as well, is given the goals that he's scored so far this season, he's probably had a little bit of a quieter game compared to some of his teammates. So yeah, there's potential for some of the games to up their levels, and we could see some exciting stuff if they're able to do it.
4 of the Bournemouth players are wearing short sleeves, by the way. So too is Nathan Collins, who won that ball for Brentford, and then Ethan Pinnock just tried to play a ball out to the right-hand touchline, launched it long. It's the throw to Bournemouth, taken quickly. Semenyo over the halfway line. But here's Evan Nilsson turning into space, releases to the left-hand side. Kirkes is there. Kirkes is crossed to the far side of the penalty area. Tavernier was up. He's supported by Kluivert, right-hand corner of the penalty area. 3 Brentford players around him with the pink shirt. So sensibly rolls it back then to Tyler Adams, who's not wasted many passes. In comes a dangerous cross. It's off the bar. I think Flecken got something on it. And that should have been 2 for Bournemouth. Semenyo was from, virtually point-blank range. They should be 2-1 up.
Agree 100% with you, JP. Antoine Semenyo's got to score there. He's middle of the goal, only about 6 or 7 yards out. And he throws his head back in disappointment. He realises what a chance it was. It was a wonderful little ball in. He positions himself between the 2 Brentford defenders, and all he's got to do is just direct the ball down, and there'll be no chance of Flecken getting that little touch and pushing it onto the bar. He gets up maybe a little bit too early. Maybe Flecken actually is not near it. It's straight onto the bar.
He wasn't going to get there, Mark Flecken, and the ball came back off the bar. Worryingly for Brentford was the ability of Semenya to creep between the 2 centre-backs unnoticed. That will disturb Thomas Frank down there, in charge of his 308th game as Brentford coach. Don't forget he was there 2 years as assistant to Dean Smith before then as well. 9 years at the club, been terrific for them. Cleared away by Flecken to the halfway line. Underneath that then is Milos Kerkez, heads it to Semenya. Infield of him to his right is Christie, rolls a simple ball, instep of his right foot, away then to Semenya, right foot touch, left foot touch, then he stabs the pass back 2 or 3 yards, still in his left hand side to Christie. Kluivert coming away from the box, finding space, swapping passes there with Evan Nilsson, gets the cross into the penalty area, ricochets back to Kluivert, holds possession, rolls the ball under the sole of his right, then his left boot, touches it back then to Adams, and the Bournemouth possession maintained on this left-hand side at 1-1 on Sports Extra, 3 minutes into the second half. Semenya, maybe it's just my imagination, seems to have been pushed a little bit higher at the start of this second period. I'll ask Fanny's thought on that as Aya scuffs a poor clearance away for Brentford, straight to Adams, 2 yards to his left hand side on the touchline is Kirkes, back to Adams, further down the line then is Kluivert 5 yards from the dead ball line on this left hand touchline, spins away initially and forces the corner kick, and did very well to force the corner kick of Christian Norgard. I think it's their third corner kick of the game.
Well, just seeing a few of the Bournemouth bench and Andoni Iraola as well, applauding his teammates and some of his team's efforts early in this second half. And there's a couple of conversations going on. Thomas Frank with his assistant, clearly looking to see what they can do to try and give their team a little lift as well, because Bournemouth are the side that have come out and started the second half the better of the two teams.
Header by Pinnock relieves pressure from the corner. Bournemouth have it on their left-hand side at 1 apiece. Christie rolls infield. Here's Kirkes to measure a left foot arcing cross into the penalty area. It's still Bournemouth in possession. Pushed back by Cook then to Tavernier. He's about 5 yards in from the far touchline. Tavernier with the short sleeve shirt on to Cook. Jinks one way, jinks the other. Pops across, hangs it up to the far post. Beyond the far post it goes, and Damsgaard will clear left-footed, looking intelligently from Boomer, but the pass dropped short, and Bournemouth will come back at Brentford once again then. 5 minutes now into the second half at 1-1. That's a fine angle ball away to the left-hand side. Looking here for Kluivert. In support just inside him is Christie. His foot was taken away by Damsgaard. Just a little trip, nothing more than well, it can never be an innocent trip if a foul tackle has been given, but you know what I mean, there's nothing in it really.
No, that's right. And do you know what, JP, Bournemouth do that so well, don't they? As soon as an attack comes to nothing, and Brentford just got 1 or 2 clearances, the ball drops outside the 18-yard box, but the players just swarm around the ball as quick as they can to win possession back. They do it so well. It sustains and maintains those kind of attacks without having to sort of drop back into their own half.
1-1, but Bournemouth have a free kick. Sorry, Fanny. Bournemouth have a free kick. It's adjacent to the right-hand edge of the penalty area, as Brentford will see it. In comes the clipped cross from Tavernier. Keeper came. It was eased away from him by Collins, and there's a foul given for a challenge on a Brentford player. I can't quite see who's down on his haunches just inside his own penalty. It's Vitaly Janelt, who gets through a lot of work, unsung for them, week in, week out. And I know the manager is a big admirer of Germany's European under-21 champion of 4 years ago.
Yeah, just got caught with a high boot there. Good defending though, as you say. Get himself in the way. Just enables his teammates and his goalkeeper to punt the ball long, get up into Bournemouth's half, and hopefully try and keep the ball a little bit better than what they have done, because they've been the second best so far in these early stages of the second half.
Thoughts there of Francis Benali, as Damsgaard has it now for Brentford to the left-hand side of the Bournemouth penalty area. He's provided 10 assists in the top right this season. Only Liverpool's Mo Salah has more. Looked for a little while as if he didn't really have a future at Brentford. He's an ever-present in all of their football this season. This is his 34th game. He's having a really strong season. And here he is to measure the cross. Right foot whipped into the penalty area. Collins has stayed forward. Good defending there by Hudson. Over his head it goes. Zabani this time clears it away, and Bournemouth will complete the clearance now. Christie running it out of defence, held possession very well, then looks long with the ball over the head of Norgard to Evan Nielsen, tidying up behind though sensibly for Brentford was young keen Lewis Potter. Really has settled into this left back role. Sometimes it's left wing back when they have a 3. He was signed as a left winger really from Hull City. I remember going up to Hull for a cup tie when he was a youngster, and he impressed so much. And Brentford have a free kick now. It's just inside the Bournemouth half. 1-1 on Sports Extra. It was a foul by Lewis Cook, who looked perplexed by the decision as he bundled into Shard, I think it was. And it's a free kick here then. Brentford will take their time over, that's for sure. They came into this in mid-table on 38 points. Goals have been a at a premium for them of late, only 18 goals in their last 15. They're 12 points better off at this stage of the season than they were at the same stage last time around, and they had 26 to their name at this stage. And it'll be Flecken who's advanced 4-5 feet into the Bournemouth half on the left hand side to take this free kick, right footed, angled up to Pinnock's not on, and that header drops then towards Kerkez. A little bit fortunate with the clearance that ricochets back into Cook, and he prods a pass away to Tavernier on the right hand touchline. Here's a run of Adams from central midfield out to the right hand side, exchanges passes with Tavernier, who's steaming down that right. Tavernier tried to chop back into the penalty area, there were two men on him, and it's won back by Sharda. Well, that's all credit to Sharda tracking back there, really tracking back so very, very fast. And the attack was snuffed out. 1-1 it remains, Fanny.
Yeah, and it's a good play out from Brentford here. Could be a promising attack. Certainly started literally on their own goal line, and Worcester looks to have won right in front of the travelling support. Worcester's waving his arms in the air, trying to lift the travelling fans into a bit of louder voice, but Brentford did so well working their way up the pitch.
England has suffered many a hiccup on the last day of the Six Nations Championship. At Wembley, you remember, way back in 67, you might remember, down in Cardiff especially, no hiccup today. They've beaten them 68 points to 14, and you can of course hear all the reaction to the rugby and the Rugby Union Weekly on BBC Sounds tonight. It's a free kick to Brentford on that left hand side, so I'd say it's 20 yards from goal, right on the left hand touchline. Brian Mbeumo hoisted into the box, Pinnock is there, so too was Collins with the head down, and Bournemouth clearing. It won't matter anyway because it was offside. Someone strayed early into that box, might well have been Wisser, and caught by the assistant's flag, Tim Wood's flag, on this near touchline. Bournemouth roll it away then towards this 19-year-old Dean Howson, who was signed from Juve for a bargain 12.8 million in the summer. He was out on loan last season from Juve at Roma, much coveted, and his team had possession with Tyler Adams, a former Leeds player, trundling into the Brentford half, finds Cliver with a little ball to the right hand side of the Bournemouth attack. Tavernier was arriving there with great energy, but the cross lacked quality, and Flecken collects, and Andoni Iraoli on this near touchline with a hooded puffer jacket, extends his arms like a cricket umpire signalling a wide. Is he trying to get his team to play out to the width?
It could well be, yeah. I mean, it's a good bit of movement and a run from Cliver. Wonderful little ball in for Tavernier. Looked like the timing of the run was spot on as well. Looked dangerous at one point. It just shows how quick the game can change, going from almost like a slow pace, but all of a sudden the tempo gets picked up, one or two passes, then all of a sudden they're in with an opportunity on goal.
Bournemouth have possession with Dean Howson. 1-1 it is, and out towards Zabani. Zabani finds that right hand touchline. Tavernier has used the width, he's got Cook on the overlap. 1-1, plays inside to the left hand side. Cliver wearing a short sleeve shirt, wristband on his left arm, strokes a fine ball to Semenyo. An infield of him is Christie, lobs across and around the back. Tavernier towards the dead ball line, hooks the ball back into a dangerous territory, and Norgard clears it away and was fouled, and the referee blows a little bit belatedly. I think he was waiting to see if Brentford could gain advantage in a breakaway through Wisser. That wasn't on, so he's pulled it back, free kick at 1-1.
It's a tough one to call this, isn't it? I'm just sort of looking on thinking, which team is going to be the one that looks like the more likely to sort of potentially score the next goal in this game. And I guess for me at the moment it's looking a little bit more like Bournemouth, to be honest, the home side.
Earlier on in the day, as Bournemouth prepared to clear, Nottingham Forest won 4-2 at Ipswich. Southampton lost 1-2 at home to Wolves, who have 26 points. Ipswich and Leicester have 17. Here now is Mbeumo into the penalty area. Shot lacked a little bit of power and drifted on to the stretching figure of Kepa, because I think the defender just got a little deflection on it. Man City 2, Brighton 2, Everton 1, West Ham 1. Tomorrow with Arsenal, Chelsea in the Premier League, then Leicester, Manchester United, the 7 o'clock kickoff, and in between the Carabao Cup final live for you. with John Murray, Ian Dennis and the team. Liverpool against Newcastle from Wembley Stadium. It's going to be a free kick here then to Bournemouth. Got a little bit scrappy, a little bit niggly in the last 2 or 3 minutes. It's one apiece, and it was Pinnock who just buffeted the back of Evan Nilsson. Zabani wearing gloves, short sleeves and gloves. It's a strange combination, as is his centre-back colleague Howson. Back again then towards Zabani to the feet of Tyler Adams, fetching and carrying. Good atmosphere here now, created by the Bournemouth fans. Away towards the left-hand side. Brentford supporters in that far stand responding as they stand in the back seats to get a view of this. One apiece. Misplaced pass by Adams, caught in possession. He'll try and win it back here against Damsgaard, who held on to possession. Pushes the ball forward 2 or 3 yards to Mbeumo. 3 yards in from this right-hand touchline as he tries to squeeze the ball back to Ayer. Christie gets the block in. It's a throw to Brentford, taken too quickly by Ayer because there were 2 balls on the pitch. One of them was in the hands of Ryan Christie, who was about to take a throw in for Bournemouth. It was all a little bit strange.
That was a bizarre one, wasn't it? We had a Brentford player and Ryan Christie for Bournemouth, both with the ball in their hands, looking to play it, and I think Christie ran on the pitch with the ball in the end, didn't he? Just almost like stopped the play. Craig Pawson had no choice but to bring it back a little bit, and we're seeing Chris Ayer certainly in no rush to take this throw in for Brentford.
Throws it into Damsgaard, gets it back. Ayer with a smear of green from the turf on the back of his pink shirt, the right shoulder. He goes down the right-hand touchline. He thinks he's forced a corner kick here off Kerkez, and he has, to the annoyance of the Hungarian international born in Serbia, Montenegro. He thought it was a goal kick. Trots back unhappily, angrily into his own penalty area. Started all 28 league games, Milos Kerkez. He's played their last 900 minutes. And it's going to be a corner kick for Brentford, and it's going to be Mbeumo to take it on the right-hand side. He's got a packed penalty area. Virtually all 20 outfield players are in the box. 2-3 Brentford players are outside it. Bournemouth have everyone back, and Mbeumo will take the corner kick. Their set-piece expert is watching on from the near touchline. Keith Andrews. In comes the corner kick. It's disappointing. Keith will be disappointed with that. That's not one they rehearsed. It's easily cleared away by Kluivert for another throw then to Brentford, and they're taking their time over this on this near side. It'll be Schade who comes across, the 23-year-old German from Potsdam. It's going to be a throw in. Schade will take the throw. Well, you're joined now on Sports Extra by 5 Live listeners who've been listening to the rugby and that fantastic win for England. Thanks to Chris and the team down there in Wales for that. As you join us, 5 Live listeners, it's one apiece. It's Schade for Brentford to get a low cross in. It's eased away for Bournemouth by Christie, who's worked really hard, and they've got a break on here. Evan Nilsson back to Kluivert. Kluivert whistles it through inside left channel. Look with the run of Evan Nilsson. Too strong there for Lewis Potter. He's in the penalty area. He's got a man square in Sevilla, but he couldn't beat Mark Flecken with a low cross. And it's the goalkeeper who will come out with it. Flecken, who was beaten in the early moments of the game by his own player 17 minutes in, as Jenot turned his back on a cross and it edged in off his flank for an own goal. But then Brentford back in the game through Johan Wissa on the half hour with a free header as the goalkeeper Kepa came for a corner and got nowhere near it. We've had moments of real quality in the game. We've had passages of play which have been scrappy and bitty, broken up by poorer passing. Some lovely passes from Norgard, and it's been a joy to work alongside Fanny Benali here in the commentary position. What are your thoughts, Fanny?
JP, well, it's been an exciting one, hasn't it? Sort of, and I think you summed it up perfectly there. There's been times of quality within the game so far. There's a couple of goals for a goal for each side as well. Bournemouth, for me, look like they're the more likely to be scoring the next goal within this game. Brentford just seem to be in these stages of the second half a little bit more content to take the pace out of the game and just sort of take their time a little bit, and we're seeing it again now with the restart of the throw-in, and the home supporters are showing their displeasure, that's for sure. So it'll be interesting to see if anything that Craig Pawson as referee will take into consideration and anything on.
Here's Schade with a run to the dead ball line on the far side, and then just ran it out under a good piece of pressure there from this tall, elegant and impressive 19-year-old Bournemouth defender, Dean House. There was a little bit of a claim for a penalty, but there's nothing doing there as he went beyond the defender. He did have hands on. There's nothing nothing really to worry about from anyone's point of view. Not enough for a penalty to be given. We're not done with the rugby, by the way, because the climax of the Six Nations will now come from the Parc des Princes, France against Scotland, which kicks off at 8 o'clock. And we've got so much sport for you as well, with the Players' Championship golf as well, the third round, Rory McIlroy pressing for the lead there as well. Then we've got live F1 commentary of the Australian Grand Prix on 5 Live from 3:30 tomorrow evening. You'll hear the golf on Sports Extra, you'll hear the rugby on 5 Live. We're all together now, one big happy family, one BBC, and it's Sharda to bring it away on the right hand side. He's given away possession again, and I'm afraid for Kevin Sharda that's been the story of the game for the 23-year-old. He's put in a shift, but it's not always been a glorious piece of work.
No, it just seems like his touch at times has been off today, JP, doesn't it? You know, and it's his reaction as well at times when he's made a mistake. Sometimes it's just walking around for a little bit, so certainly frustrating, I think, when you're watching that kind of thing.
Oh, it's a whisker of a shot over from one of Bournemouth's best players of the evening, James Tavernier, who whistled the shot over, and it's going to be a goal kick. I think the rugby's coming from the Stade, isn't it, and not the Parc des Princes. Parc des Princes, by the way, if you don't know, was the old hunting ground of King Louis and the French kings. You didn't know that, Franny, did you? You didn't really want to know that either, did you?
I certainly did not know that, no. JP, and I'm pleased you told me that.
You won't be remembering it, will you?
I will do my best to.
It's going to be a goal kick away to our left-hand side, then taken long by Flecken, looks for Shard on that left-hand touchline, little nudge by him, and it's going to be for Bournemouth. Options from the bench, and managers might be thinking about that now. Round about this time, 64 minutes, going to do Sinistera can come on and influence a Bournemouth attack. So can Dango Ouattara. Alex Scott is a fine midfield passer. David Brooks can go box to box. We know that as well. As far as Brentford are concerned, big Seth Vandenberg is on the bench, coming back from his injury problem. They haven't got a stronger bench. They've got 2 youngsters on the bench, Ewan Morgan and Ben Frederick. So whether or not they come on, we'll wait and see, as Janelt tries to angle a ball into the heart of the Bournemouth defence. Sabanier got lucky. Ilya Sabanier, first clearance, went straight to Brian Mbeumo. Then he was well positioned as Mbeumo gave it away, and now Bournemouth can streak over the halfway line. It's a long carry here by Christie. To his left hand side he's got the crosser there is Semenyo into the penalty area to the far side of the box, where it's tucked back to Tavernier. He finds Cook, and that long high cross was looping, hung in the air far too long, and Brentford dealt with it very easily on 65 minutes at 1-1. But Bournemouth come back at them again. Listen to the fans, are urging them on. Oh, it's a good turn by Evan Nielsen, but he came from an offside position. Turn, defender got it away anyway. It was a neat turn from the Brazilian, who has 7 goals this season. He had his period out of play with a foot injury, I think it was. Christie's coming off for Bournemouth, and Sinistera's going to come on. What do you make of this substitution?
Yeah, I think Ryan Christie, you spoke about it earlier in the comms, JP, a solid performer for Bournemouth, just looking to fresh things up. Areola, Sinistera coming on, again, positive kind of player, just looking to try and get that breakthrough to get the next goal in this game, to hopefully get them back onto 3 points, back on track for their European push at this stage of the season. They've got some tough games coming up, fixtures coming up at the end of the season, so they'd be hoping to sort of get back to winning ways. Bournemouth for sure. Look at some of those games they've got Aston Villa at home, Man City away, Arsenal away towards the end of the season, so you'd have to say in some ways they don't want to be relying on those fixtures to be picking up points for a European push.
Here is Sinistera, he's come on the left hand side. Semenyo's gone to the right, Tavernier into a more central position. Kluivert playing off Evan Nielsen, and Tavernier touches a pass 3 yards to the left-hand touchline. It's helped on by Kirkes. Here is Sinistera, very direct runner of the ball, low cross fizzing in, and well defended again by Nathan Collins, who was slightly hurt there as he went for the ball with Evan Nielsen. They pat hands together, and Nathan Collins stretches out an arm and touches the Brazilian on the shoulder as if to say it was an honest attempt at a challenge. 1-1, Kirkes with the cross. Collins, goodness me, he's put in a shift for Brentford today, stoops to head it away, and here's Johan Wisso, who's pulled back as he made tracks for the halfway line. He's pulled back there by Tavernier. Tyler Adams up urges the referee not to do what he was inevitably going to do, pull out a card. It's a yellow for the Bournemouth player, Tavernier.
Yeah, Wissa doing so well his first touch, and then he started to drive forward. You could say it's one of those little pullbacks that Tavernier has done that's always going to get a yellow card.
Sorry, Franny.
That's okay, JP. I was just going to say, Craig Pawson. You see it all the time.
He's done well.
Yeah, it's one of those that he's hardly been noticed, I think, which is an indication of how well the game's flowed and run from the officials.
Vandenberg's going to come on for Brentford any moment now. But meanwhile, his eye from the right side of the penalty area, looking for Schade. Good defending by Cook. Looks as if he's been playing right back all his life, as Lewis Cook back there for Bournemouth. Been very comfortable. Damsgaard for Brentford at 1-1. Strokes the ball down the right-hand touchline. Aya has it. 5 Live and Sports Extra from BBC. In comes the cross from the Brentford right, pushed back out by Aya to Damsgaard. He slams across against the covering Luis Sinisterra, and Brentford have a throw in with the deflection off the Colombian international, signed from Leeds after his loan spell here last season. And in fact, Brentford are going to make a double substitution. Vandenberg is one of them coming on, and the other one I think who's going to come on is Yegor Yarmolyuk, midfield player who they rate very, very highly. They've sort of bled him into the team on occasions to get him used to it over the last 18 months or so. Used him wisely. Schade with a throw into the penalty area, headed away back in there by Kerkez. But there might have been a little shove from Evan Nielsen on Janelt, not given. It's going to be a throw into Brentford again on this right hand side. They're just squeezing on a little bit of pressure here, aren't they, Franny?
They are, yeah, and not for the first time. We've seen Kevin Schade launching that long throw into the box, and they've got some of the big boys up there looking to cause a threat in that 6-yard box for Bournemouth.
Schade's throw, it's gone all the way through and buried by Christian Norgard, and Brentford lead here by 2-1. Brilliant finish. The long throw caught them out.
Well, doesn't it just go to show you how a game can turn? It's been a little bit scrappy. You'd have to say that Brentford were the ones that were probably the second best out of the two teams in the second half, but a set piece, a second long throw-in similar to the one before. And this time it's not cleared by the Bournemouth defence. It's a long ball in from Schade. The throw, no one gets a touch on it. It bounces and it pops up nice for Norgard, just 6 yards out, and he volleys it down past Kepa. He has no chance of saving it. It's good technique, keeps the ball down.
Brilliant finish. Norgard's 5th goal of the season. It's just my opinion. You might differ with my opinion, but I think Christian Norgard is one of the most underrated midfield players in the Premier League. The Danish international, since they signed him from Fiorentina coming up 6 years ago, has been terrific for Brentford, who are going to make these changes now. Vandenberg is coming on for Ayer, and Yarmolyuk is going to come on for Janelt. So they're the two changes for Brentford as we go on in the game. Janelt, whose own goal put Bournemouth 1-0 up in the opening exchanges. 17 minutes had gone. They were behind, not for long though, before Johan Wissa levelled on the half-hour mark with a header. Keeper should have done better with the cross. And now it's Brentford who lead through Norgard with 19 minutes to go. And will this be another disappointing result in Bournemouth's slump? They've only earned 4 points since the start of February. Only the bottom 3 have taken fewer. A season that looked at one stage really, really promising for European football for the first time is now just beginning to seep slowly away from them, with games, as Fanny was saying, up and coming. They've got Manchester City here next week in the Cup, away trips to West Ham to come, Crystal Palace, Manchester United, the Arsenal, Manchester City. We've got Villa to come here. It's a stiff run-in for them.
It certainly is, and it's a frustrating one for Bournemouth's perspective. They haven't played poorly or badly at all, but again, is it going to be another day where they've done pretty well with a performance but come out the wrong side of a result?
But they're on the attack here. Adam slips it back to Sinisterra, who passes diagonally to Kerkez between the penalty area and the left-hand touchline. Bournemouth 1, Brentford 2. on 5 Live and Sports Extra. The ball is chipped out wide to the left-hand side to Kirkes once again. Brentford sitting in deep here, keeping their shape. Nudged forward then by Howson to the edge of the Brentford penalty. Yeah, this could be a penalty. This could be a penalty. The linesman's flag. Oh, for offside. Evan Nielsen got in behind. He burrowed in behind. There was certainly contact on him by big Nathan Collins. I think Evan Nielsen has gone down holding his forehead. And the referee looked as if he was going to make a decision. Bournemouth hopes were high. And then he saw the assistant referee's flag for offside, and he's right, by the way.
Oh, and it's a fine one, though. He is offside, you're right, but it's a clumsy challenge, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure had the assistant not put the flag up, Evan Nielsen just checks his run a little bit. There's a clumsy attempt at trying to stop him from Nathan Collins, and it probably would have been a penalty.
Now, I mentioned earlier on, we've got rugby league for you tonight. From the Brick Community Stadium, Wigan Warriors against Hull. It's in the Challenge Cup 4th round. I think there's been a try. Matt Newsom?
Yeah, Wigan 22, Hull FC 10. Hull giving themselves a glimmer of hope in this one. It was a try brilliantly worked by former Wigan hooker Amir Burrow. No relation to the late Rob, of course. Burrowing his way in, as per his name. Wigan 22, Hull 10.
Could have such a night of sport for you as well. 5 Live commentary from the F1 Australian Grand Prix, first of the season, from 3:30 in the morning. Rory McIlroy, a couple of shots off the lead in the Players' Championship golf as well. Here's a long diagonal from Tavernier. He's now playing in that more central position, away to Semenyo, operating on the right-hand side for Bournemouth. Free kick given against the Cherries, and the home fans aren't happy with it. Semenyo leaning in, and there's a yellow card been brandished there, I think, for Semenyo. Yes, he's got a yellow card. Bit of pushing and shoving here. The Brentford players are unhappy with Semenyo. Rattled into Lewis Potter, it would be my guess. There's a player on the ground, but he's behind a whole forest of legs and bodies over there. I can't see from our low position. I'm assuming it's Lewis Potter. That's why the Brentford players weren't very happy.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see this one again. I mean, Semenyo has just been physically strong there. He seemed to step into Lewis Potter. The assistant referee's right in front of him, so he sees it, but there's a little bit of an elbow that comes out. It's in his neck more than anything. Lewis Potter going down, holding his face. The home supporters clearly upset about it, but you can see why there was a little bit of a reaction from some of the Brentford players.
Different game to the game when you played, Fanny, isn't it? I mean, these days you don't see that many players with broken noses or false teeth. It was sort of, well, part of the course back in the day, wasn't it, really?
Certain things did happen, didn't they?
Different game, played on mud heaps. Not the riches these boys enjoy, nor the rich facilities at training grounds that are so wonderful these days. Now here's Howson for Bournemouth, careering over the halfway line to follow his pass. He's pushed it out wide to Sinisterra, who comes in field now with a darting dash at 1-2 the scoreline. Switches play out wide to Semenyo, right hand corner of the box, 76 minutes played. Back it comes here then, looking for Clivert. He's actually had a quiet game today compared to his recent form. Brentford will smother and get it away, and there's another frustrated challenge. They've got to watch it here. That's Semenyo taking the legs of Sharda away. It's a free kick. Bournemouth are frustrated. They are on this poor run of form, but they can't let their frustrations get the better of them.
No, got to keep their discipline. That's one important thing. Frustration clearly just starting to creep in. Headed into the 77th minute. Brentford will be more than happy when they have these little lapses in play. The set pieces gives them an opportunity just to slow the tempo of the game down.
The Bournemouth are going to bring on James Hill in a little while, I think, who's been in the side of late at the back. He's standing on the touchline away to our left-hand side. Could be a double substitution as well for them. And I think the other one is David Brooks, who's just having a chat with Noni Iraioli. David Brooks, the Welsh international, who was diagnosed with Hodgkin lymphoma back in 2021, given the all-clear in May 2022, came back to football in March of 23. Such a heartwarming story. And James Hill, the 23-year-old Bristolian defender, who will come on as well, but that'll be in a moment. First of all, they won't make substitutions, especially defensively, at a defensive throw. Sharda hurls it into the box. A little bit of a header on in there by Collins, half cleared. Damsgaard pokes a shot, but over it goes for a goal kick.
And they're making those changes now, JP.
Show your appreciation, please, for 19, Justin Private.
Now Private goes off. He hasn't been up to his usual standard, has he, today? Brooks will come on for him.
Tyler Adams.
Tyler Adams goes off and on comes Hill. Let's go back to the Rugby League and Matt Newsom.
Yeah, Wigan 22, Hull FC 14. It was all Wigan's game in the first half. Hull FC have come out firing in the second. Another try, brilliant finish from Lewis Martin, stepping back inside. Wigan 22, Hull FC 14.
Keep you updated with that as the evening goes on. 2-1 here to Brentford with 12 minutes to go. Difficult to gauge whether they deserve it. They've had 2 shots on target. They've scored with both of them. I think the home team have probably had more opportunities, but I think they've had more of the ball, Franny. Difficult to tell who's deserving to win this one, really.
Yeah, well, I think clearly Bournemouth will look back to that header from Semenyo that hit the crossbar when really he should have scored. I think it was 1-1 at that point, wasn't it? Would have made a big difference, the home side taking the lead. But they didn't capitalise on it, and Brentford have done what you'd have to say is almost like a classic sort of away performance in the way that they've played.
But they've done so well away from home of late. Bournemouth, though, have possession with Sinisterra having a look, another with short sleeves and these sports gloves on out wide towards Tavernier. They are specialist gloves they wear in football, high grade these days. They're none of the old woolen mittens from back in the day. Here's Brooks to the right hand side and pushes back now to Ilyas Zabani. To his left, 10 yards away is Housen, and inside the left channel is Tavernier, who strokes a pass to Sinisterra, keeping the width on the left, gets a whip right for crossing. Oh, it should have been all square. Brooks arriving, the goal gaped, the goalkeeper was almost on his knees, and Brooks hit him straight into the capable hands of goalkeeper Flecken.
Oh, and Brentford are so relieved, aren't they? Sinisterra cutting back onto his right foot. He does well, he just flicks the ball into the middle of the 6-yard box, and David Brooks is there, and he's put his hands on his head as if to say anywhere else but straight at Flecken, and it would have been a goal.
What an opportunity, and they've had a couple of big ones. Evan Ilson in the first half, Semenyo's header that hit the bar in the second. Brooks there, comfortable save it was in the end. Boom, that's going to be a free kick here for the trip by Mbumo, and Tavernier is turning to the referee and saying, what about a yellow card? I think, knowing Brian Mbumo, it was just a sort of coming together, a bit of clumsiness. We're seeing a replay here of this big chance that came to David Brooks. Goodness me, should have scored Franny from there.
Yeah, it's literally just a handful of yards out, isn't it? Middle of the goal, either side of Flecken, and it's a goal.
Franny Benali, MBE. Where did he go to the Palace for the MBE?
Our investiture was at St James's Palace.
Oh, who gave it to you?
The Princess Royal, Princess Anne. Wonderful occasion.
Lovely for you and your family. Now here's Cook, who's moved into midfield since Hill came on, and Bournemouth are pressing again. Tavernier from range, and the keeper did well because he saw it late and it kicked up off the turf, and he sprawled that big 6'4" frame and pushed it away. And Brentford think they should have had a foul on whistle as they tried to clear their lines and hold up play. It's not given. Kirkes for Bournemouth from the left corner of the penalty area, asking questions again as they get the cross in all the way through, and it's going to be a throw into Bournemouth on the right hand side. That was a good effort.
Certainly was. Tavernier unleashing a left-footed shot, and it was one of those where you think, has the goalkeeper spotted it and had good sight of it, and he sort of delayed his save, but dived to his left, pushed it round and away from goal. Good save.
Double substitution coming up for Brentford. Ben Mee is coming on to strengthen the defence, and Yunus Konak is coming on as well, with 7.5 minutes to go plus stoppage time. Don't forget, England won the rugby handsomely, 68 points to 14 in Wales. France, Scotland to come. Good cross into the box, headed up but not really away by Collins, and then have it and Mbumo whacks it away some 50-60 yards into the Bournemouth half with a big meaty swash of his left foot. Back come Bournemouth again. Kirkes with a diagonal driven pass, edged out brilliantly by Pinnock with the outside of his left boot. It comes to Damsgaard, who tries to release here for Wissa. Wissa chasing with Zabani. Wissa's got the more pace. Carries to the edge of the penalty area, left-hand corner of the penalty area. 2-1 Brentford. You can see what he was trying to do with the low ball into Sharda. Didn't make it though. And Bournemouth clear at 2-1 down. They look for Evan Nielsen. And Collins, who's been rock solid at the back for Brentford, clears to Lewis Potter. Potter goes to ground. Wasn't pretty to watch. That was no foul by Cook, and he dived, but he's on the ball again here now. Lewis Potter nudges it one side of the defender, rushes to the other, gets to the dead ball line. Zabani gets an immediate challenge, ricochets off Sharda, goal kick. Brentford still lead 2-1.
Still exciting stuff, isn't it? Both teams looking to play on the front foot. Both managers making those changes in the latter stages of the game now, just to freshen a few things up. Still trying to do their bit from the touchline to help their team. You've got a number of changes. There's those 2 changes that JP just mentioned for Brentford, and it looks like Bournemouth are going to be making another, is it 3? Down there, it looks like there's 3 players by the looks of it.
Jefferson's going to come on for them, and Dango Ouattara's going to come on as well. Brentford are making the 2.
And the Brentford players are in no hurry to get off, clearly, at this stage, are they?
Well, Konak is going to come on, and Mee is going to come on. The 2 players to go off, Sharda and Damsgaard. So they're signalling their intention here now. They're going to shut up shop for the remaining moments of the game. And here come the Bournemouth substitutions.
About 11, Dango Ouattara.
Dango Ouattara comes on.
Sinistera's got a little knock, I think.
So off goes Sinistera, who hasn't been on the pitch that long.
Seemed to be limping back towards the dugout, so it's obviously an injury for him.
And Jefferson comes on, and Adams has gone off for them as well. Adams went off earlier. I don't know who's gone off there now. It's headed away by Hussein. And here come Brentford in possession. Tidy on the ball. Pushed back into his own half by Yego Yarmoliuk, who came on earlier for Brentford. He is a tidy midfield player, is Yarmoliuk. If you've not seen a lot of him play, the young Ukraine. Bournemouth now, trailing 2-1. 4.5 minutes to go. Look for the left-hand side. Ouattara, low darting cross. And again, it's Nathan Collins defending. Well, as a former defender yourself, what have you made of Collins today?
He's been extremely solid back there, hasn't he? Done well, he's read the game well at times, made some crucial, important decisions, stepping in, clearances, exactly as he did then, right place, right time.
So Barney was the other player who went off, by the way, for Bournemouth. In comes the cross then for the Cherries. Hosam will chase it on that far side. He's got Cook back up the line. First time cross swirling into the penalty. Evan Nielsen heads on. Evan Nielsen heads wide. Goal kick. 1-2 is the scoreline on 5 Live.
As we approach the final minutes of the 90, JP, you cannot but feel that Bournemouth are going to be reflecting on this game if it stays as it is, and be kicking themselves as well after recent results. We heard Areola talk in the week about how performances have been pretty well, but they've just got to turn these games into actually results and points on the board. That's all that matters now, he said. This will be another game that will typify that, I think.
Well, all of a sudden, teams above them, Brighton are pushing on. I thought Brighton were a little bit fortunate to beat Bournemouth the other week, 2-1 at the Amex. Bournemouth, it was such a good, high-quality game that was. You know, maybe they should have got the win against Tottenham last week. It finished 2-2, you'll remember. Beaten here by Wolves 1-0. As Yarmoliuk pushes onto the edge of the Bournemouth penalty area where the clearance loops away to Yunus Emery Konak. But Bournemouth chop it long into the Brentford half, looking for Evan Nielsen. He's had a couple of chances. He's strayed offside once or twice. I'm not too sure he looks the real deal at this stage. The Portuguese Cup winner last season, who cost them £31 million from Porto in the summer. He had a good scoring record there, 60 goals and 154, but not been his game so far. Norgood, whose goal separates the sides, pushes onto it. We're almost into the last 2 minutes on 5 Live. Kirkes now. Back it goes to the heart of the defence. Hussein to the right side. Nudged forward on that far right-hand touchline by James Hill. He's looked for the return from Semenyo. The substitute's gone on. Checks back because Semenyo didn't use him. Here's Brooks. Brooks to the right side. Out towards Kirkes. 5 yards outside the penalty area. To the left touchline finds Dango Utara. Looking to get a right foot cross in. Didn't want to cross with that. So he pushes it back then to Howson. And here's Kirkes again with a couple of yards to get the dangerous cross in. Met inside their combination of Lewis, Potter and Hill, and Brentford will clear it away here, and it's Mbumo and whistles ahead of him into the right hand side. On this near side is Connacht back to the heart of the midfield. Yarmoliot uses it intelligently to Norgard, simple pass, Norgard back to Pinnock, he drives the diagonal away to Lewis Potter, who's on the left touchline 10 yards inside the Bournemouth half. Brentford maintaining possession as we near the last minute of the 90, and they're 2-1 up on 5 Live. What an eventful afternoon we've had on the radio this afternoon for you. More event here because a free kick is given with a challenge on Lewis Potter, and there's going to be a yellow card for James Hill.
George, JP, we spoke earlier in the game how both sides were a little bit scrappy at times, but you've got to give Brentford huge credit. Since taking the lead, there's been times, and they did it just then in the build-up before winning the free kick, of actually sort of keeping and managing the game so well, knocking the ball around at the right times, breaking away with pace and positivity. They've looked solid, I think is the word, since they've gone ahead. Never really looked in any doubt of conceding at times.
And Boomer with a cross, Norgard with another header. Very difficult from there, headed it over, and a good 3 or 4 yards over, I would say, as he craned his neck to try and twist his neck muscles to get the header directed on goal. Couldn't manage it. It's a goal kick that Bournemouth have taken quickly. They need to get on with things because the fourth official is approaching the touchline, raises the board, flicks the switch, and up comes red neon lights showing 5 minutes of stoppage time. The Bournemouth fans respond. They're trailing 2-1. They're not out of this yet, and Brooks has it with the fair hair, nudges the ball to the right hand side, in comes across to Ed Nielsen, back it goes to Semenyo, and the drive cannot beat the goalkeeper, and you have to say Mark Flecken has been very decent in that Brentford goal today.
Yep, agree with you, JP. He's made some good saves, hasn't he? Semenyo just making the little run, running onto the knockdown, took a little deflection, his shot hit into the ground, which took the pace off it, made it a little bit easier for Flecken, but safe pair of hands.
Brentford look for Connacht on this right hand side. Seeing that Lewis Cook is now playing alongside Dean Howson at the back. Hill right back for Bournemouth since coming on. It's going to be a throw that Vandenberg, who came on at right back for Brentford, back in the side after missing recent games with a knee injury, takes the throw. Whistler bustles onto it between the penalty area and the right touchline. They're trying to maintain possession with 1 minute and 10 seconds gone of stoppage time, but they've lost possession and Tavernier is bundled over. Referee gives the free kick here against Sepp Vandenberg, and it's going to be a free kick that gets the wrath of Bournemouth fans because Craig Pawson didn't want it taken in the place Bournemouth wanted it taken, which was the incorrect place. They've had to go back, and Kepa rolls it away to the right hand side. Players just signalling their frustration with the referee, but it was their fault. And here's Kepa now, chipping the ball away to the right hand side. Bournemouth cannot get out of this slump they're in at this moment in time. They haven't won a game in regulation time in the last 4, one league win in 5. Here's Brooks though to try and rescue this game, pushing forward from midfield. Tavernier's to his left hand side, broke down on the edge of the penalty area with Utara, and Brentford simply kick for distance. Sees Kepa coming out of his penalty area to roll here then towards Dean Hussein. Diagonal ball, the Brentford fans are singing now in the far stand from us. Out comes Kepa, way outside his penalty to head the ball clear under a wee bit of pressure from Mbuma, not a great deal, and it's going to be a throw into Brentford, who are managing this lead very, very well.
They are indeed, JP, and again there'll be in no rush to take this whatsoever. Thomas Frank just having a little word with a few of his players. They'll be pleased that the ball's in their hands and in the Bournemouth half. at this stage of the game. Approaching 3 minutes of the 5 added on.
Reaching for it was Yunus Konak, the signing from Sivasspor a year ago now. That's not a league start. He's only played 25 minutes of league football this season from the bench. He did well though, so too did Wissa. Wissa's drawn a foul. It's around about, I'd say, 6 feet outside that Bournemouth penalty area. Bournemouth players, one or two of their heads are down at the moment because they know time is slipping away from them. We've got just under 2 minutes to go, and Brentford lead with a Christian Norgard goal scored after 70 minutes. They took the lead, don't forget, with a Yano own goal, Bournemouth, only for Wissa to level it up with a header. Bournemouth suspect in the air there, and it was Norgard's last finish which gave Brentford this 2-1 lead on 5 Live. And it's a free kick that's going to be taken by Mbumo. Floodlights sheening off the top of his shaven head. He looks to maybe go for goal here, you know. He did go for goal and ballooned it over the bar. You could see the waves, his body shape. He was going to have a go there. It's goal kick then. Kepa needs to get on with it.
And they've played it quick. Mbumo's trying to put some pressure on high up the pitch, but the rest of his teammates had made a beeline back to get in a defensive setup. It's gone long from Bournemouth.
Brentford seconds away from 5 consecutive away league games in the Premier League for the first time ever, for the first time in any division since 2010. Lewis Potter has it, taking the game to Bournemouth, denying them a way back into the game. Wissa just outside the Bournemouth penalty area. James Hill spun away there. I think he might just got caught off, the ball had gone. Now Wissa, heart of midfield, Konak to the right hand touchline. Lovely little spin on this near side by Vandenberg. Mbumo has Konak in support, and it's Brentford who have the fresher legs, and it's Bournemouth who look the crestfallen side. Olays from the Brentford fans on the far side. Every time one of their pink shirted players picks up the ball, it's at the feet of Yanis Emre Konak as he darts beyond Tavernier, and Tavernier pulls him to the ground, and it's a free kick. And earlier on in the game, Tavernier might have had a yellow for that. He's on a yellow, but with seconds to go, I don't think the referee will bother, because he blows his full-time whistle, and Brentford have come here and they've made history for themselves with their 5th consecutive away league win for the first time in the Premier League, and they've done it the hard way from behind. They kept their composure, they battled away, they've scored 2 goals from 2 efforts on target. Whistle levelling on the half-hour mark, and Norgard winning the game on 70 minutes after a Vitaly Yeno own goal had put Bournemouth ahead. Brentford players scored all 3 goals here today, and Brentford Franny Bernardi go away with a 2-1 win.
Yeah, very, very good performance from Brentford as the away team. Their goal was one that I think Bournemouth will look at as a very frustrating thing, conceding from a long throw-in set piece like that. There was no challenge on the ball coming into the box whatsoever. It bounced, and then Norgard was first to react to get the winning goal for the match here today. And they had chances, Bournemouth, but they'll be frustrated that their form's just dipped at this stage of the season, especially here at home. But a good performance from the away side.
Lovely to work with Franny Bernardi today. So much sport to come on 5 Live and Sports Extra. Now you've got a choice. Right now on Sports Extra, it's going to be Players' Championship Golf. On 5 Live, we're off to Paris for the rugby. You can take your pick. So on Sports Extra, we're handing over now to Catherine Dowd.